And we'll begin with roll call.
Sarchet?
Here.
Savage?
Here.
Walters?
Here.
Vogel? Here. Otis?
Here.
Item number 3, business items. First item, A, Resolution 2025-29, certifying the 2024 special federal census for the city of Polk City to the Iowa Secretary of State and Treasurer of the state of Iowa. Chelsea?
Thanks everybody for being here this morning. This was the item we had called the special meeting for. There seemed to be a little bit of back and forth with the state of Iowa on what certifying the special census count actually meant, but they have informed us that they need a resolution from the city council authorizing the population and housing count. That is available in your packet, but if we can get this over to the state of Iowa yet today, there is an opportunity we can collect new road use tax dollars in the month of April.
Any questions?
I assume the protests about missed areas of Polk City didn't go anywhere.
We looked into it. They gave us tract information, and we do know that there were 2 neighborhoods that informed our staff that they didn't get counted, or they didn't have a worker come knock on their door. When they gave us the tract information, it showed that those neighborhoods did have counts. We still think that we might have been maybe a little undercounted, but they did indeed count the neighborhoods that we were informed of that didn't have a worker come to their residence.
So I don't know if I have any questions necessarily, but I do want to get on the record emphasizing the point that you made about the timing for this meeting. But more importantly, there were some questions that I had seen about the cost and associated benefit of the special census. So, and I know you don't like, you like specific information, so I don't want to put you in a tough corner, but there is a positive return on investment, for lack of a better term, on our cost associated with the was it 400 or 600,000? It was a lot.
It was $401,000 was our estimate. And we've been notified we will be getting a refund, a partial refund. I don't know what that dollar amount is. They wouldn't share that with us. But now that we have a higher population, we will collect $137,000 new dollars in road use tax alone annually. So when we did the actual census back in 2020, that was done in March of 2020, but we didn't collect new dollars until September.
Okay.
So there is the possibility we'd collect that $137,000 in new road use tax for a period of 5.5 years.
Okay.
So I think the maths.
Yep.
But it is refreshing to hear we are getting a partial refund also.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, thank you.
I'll have a motion. Ask for a motion and a second, please.
So moved.
Second.
And a roll call.
Savage?
Yes.
Walters?
Yes.
Vogel? Yes. Otis?
Yes.
Sarchet?
Yes.
Moving on to 3B, Resolution 2025-30, approving an amendment to the agreement with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, expanding the lease area by 6.85 acres adjacent to the sports complex. Chelsea?
So we went ahead and added this to the agenda this morning as well. We have been waiting for this amendment to our lease agreement for a few years. But this would add the property to the east of the sports complex. It's about 7 acres of property. I think you all know what property we're discussing this morning. But we would add that to our lease agreement. This would allow us to construct the Polk City Junction Trail, address some stormwater issues that need to be taken care of there, and possibly add a parking lot in the future.
Anybody have any comments?
So this doesn't really, the trail was going through regardless of who managed the land. The timing is a little bit auspicious since we're starting to do work, right? But that the trail connection, that really isn't impacted by this, correct?
They they required us to amend the lease agreement for the trail. They weren't
Okay.
gonna let us construct a trail until we had this added to our lease agreement.
Okay.
And as you saw in the exhibit, did you notice that the Neil Smith was not included because it's been discussed and very clear that the Army Corps will continue to maintain that?
Okay. So my preference here would, well, I mean, I've got thoughts on what it would be best used for, cleaning it up, since it serves as an entry point. But there are a number of ways to do that. And we can get the lease, agreement set, but I would like to reach out, and get some feedback, broadly, but most specifically to the Bridgeview neighborhood. And we've got a handful of properties that butt directly up to this, so, whatever, you mentioned a parking lot, we may need that at some point, but, in the meantime, we can do some things to, I think, just make it look better, but before we do anything, I think getting the weigh-in of, that neighborhood and anybody for that matter, but, we've taken the neighborhood park approach, and this is obviously different than your average neighborhood park, but I think the principle, the guiding principle, for how to use it kind of, is the same. Come to a consensus, maybe add a little bit more weight to those in close proximity, and then decide what we do, if we do anything, when we do it, all those things. So I know that's not necessarily, information for the vote right now, but just a little bit of my perspective. I don't know if others think differently or have other things in mind.
No, I think it's exciting. I mean, I know it's taken a long time to get to this point. Excited to finally have a point where we do have the piece and can figure out what that looks like. I know I was at the sports complex last night looking, figuring out how I get out of there and back up between all the, so yes, whatever we do with it, it's exciting to get to this point and have it, and probably lots of discussions to come on the future, but glad we are to this point of getting it in front of us and getting a hold of it.
Do we still need to get our DNR clearances? Are we still waiting on those?
I do not know about that. Can I get back to you on it?
Absolutely.
Okay. I can tell you that the plans for Phase 7 are complete. We would have that on the April 14th agenda to set the public hearing for for accepting the bids. We'd be looking to have a bid opening in early May, and then the council review bids in both meetings in May. So I think that the trail component will move pretty quickly. That Phase 7 connection has been in like 3 budget years because we've been waiting so long just to get this amendment completed. But you'll be seeing that in the near future.
Excellent.
But I'll get back to you on the DNR question.
Okay, how about a motion and a second?
Motion to approve resolution 2025-30.
Second?
Roll call.
Vogel? Yes. Otis?
Yes.
Sarchet?
Yes.
Savage?
Yes.
Walters?
Item number 4 is adjournment. I'll ask for a motion and a second.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Same sign for those against.